Hey guys, Jason here, checking back in on Apple. Yesterday's video, we talked a little bit about this nice trend that we're seeing here. And the overall trend was something like this. This was not the exact one, but all we were doing was trying to show how this overall daily march to the upside was continuing, and then trends continue until they break. So as long as we're inside this trend, that's what we expect to see continue. And so far today, we managed to maintain that. So with the trend, even though you can open below it, as long as you close inside that patterns area, things are going to be okay, and you can expect the trend to continue. The other thing we talked about was that we needed to continue the pattern of higher lows, and that was indeed the case today. Look at this. We got our low, 197.04. So we see our higher lows. We have our low established. We get a new high. We get a new higher low, higher high, higher low. And this is potentially formed here on yesterday's candlestick now, because we have seen a nice bullish move on today's action. So if we see another good move tomorrow, another green candle, we'll consider this to be the new higher low at 198.41. And even if we get this tested tomorrow, it's going to be an important level on the 5-minute time frame for support. Yesterday's low is often an area of support that we can utilize for short-term scalping and trading. So to reiterate, trend is continuing nicely to the upside on the daily, a new higher low likely set. We need to see confirmation tomorrow with a nice green close, and we will look for resistance up in the area of, let's call it 206.17. Why not? Simply because this is what we want to see the trend continue to the upside, right? That was a weird sentence, I realize that. But all I'm doing is I'm just guesstimating, and that's really all it is, because we're looking for this pattern of higher lows and higher highs to continue. So if this price does indeed come back up, all we need to do is get something over 205.08. So something in the 206 area seems reasonable for that. And that's what I look for when I want to follow these trends and trade these trends. So daily, the time frame is looking good. Let's go check out the 4-hour time frame. Nothing amazing in here. Quick little flush. We get that new higher low, that's perfect level. And then see the price move to the upside. Hourly time frame. Actually, let's just jump to the 5-minute time frame, see what today did, if there's any lessons there for us. And not really. We had a nice strong open. We got ourselves a nice trend change. There's a few 5-minute trend changes here, but overall, probably going to look more clear on the 15-minute time frame. There you go. 15-minute high. There's our higher low, higher high, a little bit of a dip, still a higher low. We move up for a higher high, and although we broke this action, let's actually zoom in on that and see what happened there. So in this case, we get a 5-minute trend change, and what sort of reaction do we have to that 15-minute trend change rather? So here's our low, our higher high. Now we lose that level, and we move down. So 15-minute time frame, let's jump to the 5, see if we can learn a little bit about that. There's a dip, a little bit of a battle. 2-minute time frame, what does that tell us? Here we go. So 2-minute trend change, we got an inverse head and shoulders, move to the upside. So no real clear signal. If you had an entry and you were looking for 50 minutes, jumping out when we broke 275, that would have been the sound thing to do, simply because we had a trend change, we lost our higher low pattern, and that is a clear exit signal. So if you're profitable, you're in on that trend from earlier this morning, that's a good way to exit. You're always, well, not always, you're very possibly going to leave money on the table when you're trading with price levels, but that's what we're doing. We're taking calculated risks and we're managing our capital. So when you see a trend change, you have no idea what's coming in the future. All you know is that your trend and the pattern that you have been utilizing to make your profits has altered, and you need to be able to react to that. In this case, getting out of that trade would have been the right thing to do. And then getting back into the trade, possibly when you see a nice 2-minute head and shoulders pattern forming up, and then a breakout, and then a monster move to the upside. So it's a lot about managing these trends. It's a lot about managing your capital, and then being able to recognize and react to developments in the price action. Anyway, I've gone way too far off for this quick video. But thanks for watching again. We'll check out Apple. I'm going to be covering these pretty regularly, and we will keep seeing how we can manage our trades and our profits using this daily trend until it breaks, and then we'll be ready for something new. Hey guys, Jason here for TheChartGuys, checking back in on Tesla, TSLA. And today was a little bit of a lackluster day for Tesla. We got ourselves a nice, another indecisive inside bar. We're still inside the range that we're looking at for our little daily uptrend here. And this is sort of the action that you expect to see as you reach an area of support. We have indecision, 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 slowly working our way down. And, you might find out a little bit more about what's happening on these indecision candlesticks if you look at your sub time frames. But what's important here on the daily time frame is that we are grinding this level of support. So if we go look at our 5-minute, and we will, this was an early morning flush right down to support. And often those opportunities, when you dip to support or below support and you see volume coming in to back up the rejection of that move, or worded another way, you see support hold and the bulls step in. Those are good profit opportunities. So right now, the daily uptrend, Tesla is looking good. We're still setting a higher lows, higher highs pattern. 222.22 is still intact. And what we need to do is see if we can get ourselves a higher low. Maybe it's going to be 227.28 here if we see a nice green tomorrow in confirmation, and look for upside continuation in this pattern. So no big red flags on the daily time frame. First red flag would be the loss of this trend, in which case we are going to close below tomorrow's candlestick. Let's call it 230.06. That's just a rough projection. Ultimately, a close underneath the low of today. And worst case scenario for the bulls is going to be loss of this daily uptrend if we lose 222.22. There's too many 22s. $222.22. All right, so let's go take a look at the 4-hour time frame, see if anything cool happened in there for us today. Not a heck of a lot going on, and additional information for the 4-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame, even still, let's just jump to 5 minutes, because that's what we're playing with and that's what we're talking about in this video. And I don't want to spend too much more time looking at Tesla today. But there's our drop. So initially we see a quick volatility, a spike early in the morning, good volume coming in, all those robots and conspiracy theory HFTs and other words that none of us really understand churning and doing their magic. And then finally we see that drop, a flush to 227.28, a little bit of a battle, and then we start setting this 5-minute uptrend, and things look very good. Higher highs, higher lows for the majority of the day, finally getting into a trend change, and then we end the day there. So big takeaway today, watch those daily trend lines, utilize them on your 5-minute supports, or utilize them for your 5-minute support levels as you're trading intraday. And if you get a big flush early in the morning and you're directly running into a major daily support line, that is your signal to look for long-term entries, because as we know, when we bounce around inside these trend lines, these highs and these lows are when we should be making our choices. We got no idea what the price is going to do once we're in the middle of the pack here. If we get multiple days with really doing nothing, you need to wait until you're at a support line or a resistance line, and then you make a decision. If you're wrong, you very quickly find out that fact. You make an adjustment to your trade plan, and that's what technical analysis is all about. Looking for the most likely scenario and reacting to developments in price action. If you're into this, you like this way of analyzing and looking at the markets, come check us out, TheChartGuys.com. This is pretty much all we do.